Hello everyone. Today, we are discussing about imaging, web designing, and online platforms. So that was in lesson 1. Sources of photos and graphics. First, personal and professional photos. These are the pictures taken by an amateur, beginner, or a professional photographer using a film or a digital camera. So even as we can also use our phones to make our professional and personal photos. For example, kapag magpapalit tayo ng profile picture natin sa Facebook, we use our own cell phones camera to take our own photos. So next, stock photo libraries. Stock photo libraries are several photographs and created images that are available for sale. They're in CD or DVD format, and many of these images are royalty free, meaning they can be used and reused commercially without payment. For you to know, stock photos are images that anyone can license for KA reviews. Kung kesa naman sa kukuha pa tayo ng mga photographers, mga designers, it can search a large database of photos and quickly find one that works for their projects. So, yung mga sikat na mga stock photos na naglalaman ng mga tao, mga destinasyon, parang halimbawa sa mga Boracay, mga pwede nating puntahan, mga animals and also foods. Scanned images. Scanned images. So these are the printed photos or documents transferred from a scanning device to your computer for editing. These are usually images that requires modification or repair using image manipulation software. For you to know, ang isang image scanner kasi ay ito yung madalas na pinapaikli sa isang scanner lang. For example, we use some apparatus para ma-scan ang mga images. For example, um, for printing ng mga text, handwriting, and also sa mga bagay na nako-convert into digital images. So, we usually use this sa mga tanggapan ng mga pagkakaiba-iba ng mga desktop flatbed scanner kung saan inilalagay natin yung mga documents for Windows scanning. So, online stock photos. Online stock photos, so these are found in the World Wide Web or www. The www is now the primary or the dominant source of photos and graphics in the world because of its availability, choices, and reasonable prices. So, for you to know, stock photos are professional grade photographs that are available for free or bought and sold for a range of purposes. So, the photographer or the stock photography distributor retains ownership of the images and dictates the parameters for how image can be used. So, kung tatanungin tayo kung yung online stock photos is bad nga ba? So, for me, not that much. So, based on my some research, according to the latest insights from a visual content experts, it turns out that cheesy stock photos can be a huge turn-off to your readers because they are so impersonal. Simply but, most stock photos don't do a good job on their own of representing your brand. So now we are going to online digital file formats for images and text. So, our computers have different methods for encoding information for storage in a hard drive, USB, etc. So, a file format is a standard way that information is encoded for storage in a computer file. It specifies how bits are used to encode informations in a digital storage medium. File formats may be either proprietary or free and may be either unpublished or opened. For you to know, yung mga ilang file format kasi it is designed para sa mga particular na mga uri ng data. So for example, yung mga data like file like PNG or portable network graphics. So for example, nag-i-impact ng mga nakabit na image gamit ang mga pagkawala ng mga compression ng data. Tapos, yung mga ibang mga format ng files ay dinisenyo para sa pag-iimbak ng maraming magkakauring ng data. So, for example, yung format na OGG, it is a audio file format na maaaring kumilos bilang isang lalagyanan para sa iba't ibang uri ng videos. Kung meron man o walang teksto. So, for example, yung mga subtitles at mga metadata. So, ang isang text file ay isang maaaring naglalaman naman ng mga anumang mga stream ng mga characters, kabilang ang mga posibleng control characters, at naka-encode sa isang iba't ibang mga scheme ng pag-encode ng characters. Ang ilang mga format ng file tulad ng HTML o hypertext markup lang, scalable vector graphics at ang source code ng computer software ay mga file ng teksto na may tinutukoy ng mga syntax na pinapayagan silang magamit para sa mga tiyak na layunin. Next, proprietary formats. So proprietary formats are owned and controlled by individuals or corporations, and the file formats specification are not available in public. The owner has exclusive control over these file formats and developed of present and future technology of this format. So for examples, these are the formats used in the storage for MS Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Formats such as CDR or CorelDRAW's native format primarily used for vector graphic drawings. So DWG or AutoCAD drawing, PSD, Adobe Photoshop's native images formats, RAR, RAR or Archive and Compression File format owned by Alexander L. Rochal, WMA or a closed format owned by Microsoft. For you to know, yung isang kasing nagmamay-ari ng ang file format na proprietary formats ng isang kumpanya, ng isang samahan o ng individual na naglalaman ng data. Ito kasi nakaayos tapos naka-imbak lang based sa isang particular na scheme ng pag-encode. It is designed for companies or mga samahan upang maging lihim lamang. Tulad ng pag-encode at interpretation ng nakaimbak na ito, ang data ay madaling magagawa lamang sa particular na software or hardware na binubuo ng kumpanya mismo. Ang detalye ng format ng pag-encode ng data ay hindi pinakawalan o sumailalim sa mga kasunduan na hindi pinasisiwalat. Ang isang proprietary formats ay maaari ding isang file format na ang pag-encode ay isang katunayan ng na-publish ngunit pinaghihipitan sa pamamagitan ng mga lisensya tulad ng mga kumpanya lamang o mga licensed ang maaaring gumamit nito. Sa kaibahan, ang isang bukas na format ay isang format file na naipapublish at libre upang magamit ng lahat. So, open formats. Open formats are means and ways for storing digital informations that are free. It can be used by the public and are not subject to copyright or patents. These formats are called free file formats, and the specification for these formats are sustained and maintained by a group or individuals or organizations. So, an open format is a file format for storing digital data defined by a published specification are usually maintained by standards organization and which can be used and implemented by anyone. For example, an open file format can be implemented by both proprietary and free and open source software, using the typical software licenses used by each. In contrast to open formats, closed formats are considered trade secrets. Open formats are also called free file formats if they are not encumbered by any copyrights, patents, trademarks, or other restrictions. So for example, if they're in the public domain, so that anyone may use them at no monetary cost for any desired purposes. So next, file formats. So file formats are uses suffixes that are added to the end of a file name. So these are the file extensions. It identifies and format of a file. It usually has two more or more characters following a dot. So for example, are dot docs, dot png, dot xlxs, and also dot jpeg, dot kpub2, etc. Digital file formats are classified into three major groups. So number one, uncompressed or raw format. It is usually used for storing original file formats. It is a flexible form but eats up memory. Number two, lossless file format. It is a compressed file format to keep the quality of the original file format but at reduced size. This is ideal for storing important files. So for examples, images, audios, and videos. Number three, lossy file formats. It is a compressed file format that has a lower quality but good enough. Compared to the original file formats, it has a better compression rate requiring the least memory. So now we're going to image file formats. Image file formats are means of storing and organizing digital images, photos, and illustrations. So for you to know, kasi yung mga file formats, ang mga image file formats ay naka-standardized na paraan ng pag-aayos at pag-iimbak ng mga digital images. Ang isang format ng file image ay maaaring mag-imbak ng data sa isang hindi nakakompress na format. Ang isang nakakompress na format ay maaaring walang pagkawala o yung tinatawag na lossy. Ito ay isang format na vector. Ang mga image files ay binubuo ng digital data sa isa sa mga format na ito upang ang data ay maaaring rasterized para magamit sa isang computer display or printer. Sa rasterization ay nagko-convert ng data ng images sa isang grid ng mga pixels. Ang bawat pixel ay may mga bilang ng mga piraso upang italaga ang kulay nito. So for example, sa ilang mga formats, ito yung may transparency. Ang pag-raster ng isang file ng image para sa isang tukoy na aparatos na isa ng alang-alang bilang ng mga piraso ng bawat pixels o yung lalim ng kulay na idinisenyo ang aparato upang hawakan. So now we're going to the classification of image file formats. So number one, raster image files or bitmap images. It is a means of representing digital images in bits of information for storage, which translates into pixels when viewed on the screen. Majority of raster files are lossy. Raster image file formats is the common format you will find in the internet and with many digital image files from digital cameras. They become pixelated when you zoom into it. So examples are .jpeg, .gif, .png files. Para mas maintindihan pa natin, ang mga raster images ay gawa sa mga pixels. So, ang mga pixels ay isang single points or yung mga pinakamaliit na single element sa isang display device. So, kung mag-zoom in ka sa isang image, sa isang raster image, maaari kang magsimulang makakita ng maraming maliliit na mga parasquat. Ang mga image vectors ay mga kalkulasyon ng mathematically mula sa isang punto patungo sa iba pa na bumubuo ng mga linyang hugis. So, these are the types of raster image formats. So, the file extension names are .bmp, .gif, .jpg, .png, and .psd. So, the descriptions. Start tayo sa .bmp or bitmap image files. It is an image file format developed and used on Microsoft Windows environment and is stored in a graphics file format called Device Independent Bitmap or DIB and has a file extension of .bmp or .dib, not a common format on a World Wide Web or www. Because of its large file size. Next, .gif or the graphical interchange format. It is an image file format that is very popular on the www. Or on the World Wide Web because of its portability or the small file size. And it is also support for animations. It is ideal for images with large areas in uniform color, small images, images with text, navigation buttons, but it is not good to use for photographic images. It supports only a small 8-bit per pixel color scheme. Next, the .jpg or JPEG image file is standardized by Joint Photographic Expert Groups or the so-called JPEG. It is a common method for photographic images as well as transmissions of photos in the World Wide Web or WW, since it supports 24 bits per pixel color scheme. Many digital cameras store photographs in JPEG formats. It is not ideal for use in line art. Next, .png or the portable network graphics. It is a free open source bitmap image format made to improve on GIF, which has small file but can handle more colors since it supports 24-bit per pixel color scheme and supports true color with 16 million colors. Unlike GIF, PNG doesn't support animations. It employs lossless compressions, meaning it doesn't lose the quality of the image despite successive editing. Next, .psd or the Photoshop document is a native format for the Adobe Photoshop. It has the ability to read all of the above formats and edit them. There are many users to this very popular program. So the next classification of image file formats are vector image or vector graphic files. So these are the lossless file created using mathematical geometrical equations to represent images in digital computer graphics. Vector graphics has the advantage of retaining its quality at any desired image size, unlike raster images that appears pixelated when displayed in expanded image sizes. It is the preferred format for those who desire quality prints and display of images. Examples are PDF, encapsulated postscripts or EPS, scalable vector graphics or SVG, and Windows Meta file. Para mas maintindihan nyo, ang graphicong vector o vector graphics or in English, vector graphics are mga paggamit ng mga polygon upang representa ng mga imahen sa mga grapikong pang-computer or computer graphics. Ang mga graphic vectors ay nakabatay sa mga vectors na dumadaan sa mga lokasyong tinatawag na control points or nodes. Ang bawat isa ay may puntong ito ay may tiyak na posisyon sa X at Y na axis ng workplane at nagdedetermina sa direksyon ng path. Kung walang papalalim pa, ang bawat path ay maaaring takdaan ng iba't ibang attribute kabilang ang mga value tulad ng kulay ng stroke, hugis, kurba, makapal, at feel. We have different types of vector image formats. So file name extensions are .ai, .drw, .dfx, .ps, and .svg. So, .ai or Adobe Illustrator is the file extensions for graphic created using Adobe Illustrator, which is created using paths and lines connected by points instead of bitmaps. It with may include objects, colors, and text. The DRW or drawing file is a generic drawing created and stored in a vector format that uses lines or paths to represent images. These images are output of Apple Works, Microsoft Pictures It, Core.iDraw, and Core Paint Shop Pro. .txf or Drawing Exchange Format is a drawing format developed and introduced by Autodesk, the maker of AutoCAD, and is used for computer-aided design or CAD vector images. This format is similar to .drw file but is universal so that the AutoCAD can be opened using other programs such as Vectorworks, ArchiCAD, CorelDRAW, and other CAD programs. .ps or PostScript is a page description language or PDL developed by Adobe. It is a language for printing documents on laser printers and image setters in high-resolution printers used to produce camera-ready copies. PostScript files, whether images or fonts, that can be changed in size without image quality reduction or pixelation and can be printed on a PostScript printer even without an open program. SVG or Scalable Vector Graphics or SVG is the most common vector graphic format on the internet. It was developed by the World Wide Web Consortium or the W3C to display vector graphics. SVG is an open format and can be opened by Adobe, Corel, and Open Graphics program. So thank you guys for listening. So this is the end of lesson 2.1. Thank you.